Welcome to Insight Plug, the podcast where independent creators and entrepreneurs connect and inspire. I'm your host, Devon Jones. Today on our show, we have returning guest. He's an actor, Connor Thomas. Connor, welcome back to the show.
Thanks, Devon. Nice to be back.
Glad to have you back. So you've been taking on a couple projects since the last time we spoke. But before we jump into those projects, for the audience who hasn't had a chance to check out the first episode with you, could you give us a quick recap on how you got started with your acting career?
Yeah, absolutely. I've only been acting coming up to 3 years now. It's not long till it's 3 years. Before that, I was actually a science teacher, um, which was another job I did love. I loved being in class with the kids, teaching them what I knew. Um, but it wasn't right for me at the time. And I looked at the other thing that I'd loved doing when I was younger, when I was a teen, when I was a kid. And acting was that other thing, but it never felt the safe option. And when I decided to leave teaching, I thought, well, if I don't do acting now, I'm never going to do it. So I plunged into it and not looked back since.
Awesome, awesome. I'm glad that you chose that route. Because the parts that you've been getting is amazing. You know, I love following your work, and I'm interested in discussing it. So let's jump into it.
Yeah, yeah.
So one of the projects you worked on, it was around the holidays. Shakespeare's Twelfth Night. How did you come across that project, and how was that experience?
So that was with a company I've worked with before. So around this time last year, actually, I did Witness for the Prosecution, an Agatha Christie play set in a courtroom, and absolutely loved that. And Jess, the director, um, asked me back for Twelfth Night, and I was a bit nervous to begin with it because I hadn't done Shakespeare before. Um, my experience of Shakespeare at high school was, oh, I can't be bothered with this. I don't like how he writes it. It's a completely different language. I don't want to go down that route. And I didn't like the story of Romeo and Juliet, which was one that we always go into. Um, but she sent me the script over and I had a read through to decide what character I'd like to go for and whether I liked the story itself. Um, and I surprised myself on a couple of fronts. Firstly, I did like a story of Twelfth Night. And secondly, I understood it a lot more than I thought I would have.
All right, all right. And could you explain like the character that you played, and how was that experience going into that play? And being that you said that the writing was kind of, difficult at the beginning, how was that, presenting the lines?
Yeah, so I played Sebastian, who's one of two twins, and the story's set around the mistaken identity between these two twins who have both been shipwrecked in this distant land, both believe the other one's dead, and a lot of shenanigans happen because of this um, mistaken identity. And it was really fun playing this character because he was quite unlike others I've played before. He was quite sure of himself. He was quite wealthy. He knows how to get the ladies. Well, at least that's how I portrayed him anyway. And it was quite fun to do. And obviously, I had my twin counterpart. And we talked through things. We decided how we were going to stand in certain ways. We had this sort of slant to the left that we both did to try and build that twin bond between us. But then with the language, the first thing I did when I started prepping for the role was to translate the entire script for my characters and who I'm talking to. And like I say, I was quite nicely surprised that I was thinking Shakespeare was writing what I was then translating to the audience.
Awesome, it's awesome. I love it. All right. So then after 12th night, you got attached to another project, and this project is called Phasma. Could you share about how is that experience going for you?
That was wicked. In a word, it's the biggest thing I've done so far. One of the lead cast for a feature film, And it's a horror film, as the name suggests. This group of people, something's happened in their life, so they decide to get away from it for a little bit, go to this beautiful cottage that within the Welsh countryside. That's where we went, and try to just forget about what's gone on, take some time away from London, the hustle and bustle and everything. And of course, it being a horror movie, things don't quite go that way.
Did you have to do any additional preparation outside of the film to prepare for this horror film?
Um, I mean, I had to prepare Tom, who was the character I played. He's quite reserved, he's quite timid, and so a lot of my work was around bringing my own timidness out, my own shyness out, making that the forefront of this character. And that's both in terms of what I was saying, how I was saying it, and how I was walking, how I was talking. But what I did like to do, especially for Tom, was create his whole backstory about why he's this way. And I've got pages and pages in my little book of what's gone on in Tom's life.
Awesome, awesome. All right. So with with these projects that you've been working on so far, what would you say has been your greatest achievement?
I think being able to create different characters. Um, One of my worries getting into acting was I've seen various actors on TV or in movies where you say, "Oh, there's that actor again. They're playing themselves. Oh, there's that actor again. They're playing themselves." And there's going to be an element of that to any actor and the characters they're playing because, of course, it's them in that role. But I want them to be able to create characters who, when you watch it, you're invested in that character rather than that actor. And I feel from feedback I've had from the plays and other shows I've done and what have you that that's something I'm able to do.
Awesome, awesome. All right. So outside of, acting, when you're I I would say gathering experience and knowledge of, the acting techniques and methods, what does Connor do to keep that inspiration going? Like, is there like a couple films that you watch like that's like your classics, your favorites? Or do you like go on travels to kind of like soak in the atmosphere and environment?
Oh, it's a combination of things. I think I spoke last time about the Lord of the Rings movies being sort of a masterclass in not just acting, but all of the DOP stuff, the guys in the workshops making the orc armor and stuff like that. Um, that's one I do like to come back to. Um, Stanley Tucci is quite an inspiration. I love the variety he can bring to the roles, like I was saying about the characters earlier. So it's always nice to watch um, any movie that he's in. But then outside of that, people watching is a good task to give yourself. Just observing how people go about the world. Um, I do feel a bit nosy at times, but I try to not get too invested in their world, but just see how they're going about their daily lives. And oh, actually, I could use that for that character, or I could walk that way for this character and pick things out.
Awesome, awesome. I love it. Thanks for sharing that. All right. So we're at the point where we usually ask that, what is a book, a TV show, or a film that you recommend? But being that this is your second time around on this show, the floor is yours. What inspirational tips you would like to give? What guidance you would like to give for these new actors?
I mean, I think I said last time, believe in yourself. That's still massive. You need that and surround yourself with a base of people who can support that belief. Um, but I think something I didn't say last time, which I believe and I've been doing myself today, is create, whether that's on stage, on film, writing, and performing music in any way, create, and that helps drive your creativity in other aspects.
I love it. I love it. All right, everyone. That was our episode of Inside Plug. Remember, if you love what you heard, don't forget to check out some of our previous episodes. And don't forget to follow us and subscribe on YouTube. We're here every Tuesday at 9 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. Connor, thanks again for joining us. Looking forward to checking out the projects. Oh, and also for 12th Night, is that available for people to take a look at it?
Oh no, it's not, unfortunately. It was just a couple of nights in December. Um, but Phasma will be coming out in the future.
All right. Well, we'll keep you guys updated and everyone updated when Phasma comes out. And don't forget, if you are on Instagram, check out Connor Thomas, look him up. And once again, stay inspired and keep creating. This has been Devon Jones, Inside Plug, signing out.